6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is a news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The President delivers keynote address at Indian Ocean Conference in Perth today. Sri Lanka's first large-scale solar project unveiled. The Elections Commission says that all should pay attention to register in the 2024 voting list. Ministry of Agriculture to resolve issue related to purchase of organic fertilizers from a Chinese company. State revenue increased by 25% in January after VAT revision. The government increases monthly allowances for kidney patients, disabled and elderly persons. News overseas count is underway after controversial Pakistan election. In sports, Sri Lanka will confront Afghanistan in the first ODI at Pallekele today. And those are the headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe left the island to attend the 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth, Australia today and tomorrow on an invitation from the Indian Foundation and Government of Australia. On an official visit, President Wickremesinghe will play a pivotal role in shaping discussions at the conference, slated as a vital forum for dialogue and cooperation within the Indian Ocean region. Scheduled to deliver the keynote address, his presence underscores Sri Lanka's commitment to regional collaboration. The event, themed towards a stable and sustainable Indian Ocean, aims to foster cooperation among 40 participating nations. President Wickremesinghe's participation reflects Sri Lanka's proactive stance towards regional stability and development. Accompanying the President is Foreign Affairs Minister Ali Sabri, who will address the plenary session titled Our Blue Future: How Can the Indian Ocean Region Work with island states to safeguard the health of our shared ocean resources. The Ceylon Electricity Board yesterday inked a power purchase agreement with Rividanavi Private Limited for 100 megawatts ground mount solar project in Siamlandu. The deal was signed in the presence of Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara in a post on X. Minister Wijesekara said the investment is expected to be $132 million. The minister said Rividanavi would also build the transmission line of 27.5 kilometers for the project and transfer it to CEB. Meanwhile, Petronet LNG Limited, India's biggest liquid field or liquefied natural gas company, will in 2025 start supplying LNG to Sri Lanka, initially in containers loaded on ships and later going on to build an import terminal, its chief executive said yesterday. Sri Lanka is seeking supply of gas in liquid form to meet requirements for generating electricity and other industries. It was in discussion with Petronet and other suppliers for years, and it is only now that it has finally agreed to buy the fuel from the Indian firm. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Your next generation digital banking partner, People's Bank.
The Elections Commission says all should pay attention to register in the 2024 voting list. He said they initially planned to start the registration process on February 1st, but the Commission decided to expedite the process due to the upcoming presidential election in 2024. The registration process should be completed by 29th of this month. It is compulsory to gather information for the persons over 18 years of age. In the year 2021, the purchasing organic fertilizer that the Ministry of Agriculture arranged to purchase from a private company in China has subsequently reached a problematic situation, so various steps were taken from time to time to resolve the issue. Due to some practical issues that arose during the implementation of the step, it took time to settle the deal. In particular, Sri Lankan government even had to pay a compensation of $6.9 million on the charge of damaging the reputation of the Chinese company that supplied the relevant organic fertilizers. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siambalapitiya says state revenue has increased by 25% in January after VAT increase, where 274 billion rupees was recorded in January 2024, whereas the estimated state revenue was 219 billion rupees. The minister said the Customs Department was set a target of 114 billion rupees for January, and it had recorded 121 billion rupees, which is 11% more than the estimated revenue. Speaking during the adjournment debate on the government policy statement, he told Parliament that inflation was recorded as 6.4%, while the food inflation was only 3.3%. The Parliament will meet today at 9:30 a.m. The adjournment debate on the President's policy statement presented on the opening of the 5th session of the 9th Parliament will be debated for the second day today. And that's local news.
Enjoy seamless shopping. Open LCs, settle bills and transfer funds instantly, anywhere and anytime. With People's Bank Digital Solutions, you're empowered to do more, whenever and wherever you want. Unlock a world of modern banking conveniences with People's Bank, your next generation digital banking partner. People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
The government has decided to increase the monthly allowances granted for senior citizens and persons with disabilities and kidney patients. State Minister of Finance Shan Singh said the 5,000 rupees allowance given to kidney patients and persons with disabilities will be increased to 7,500 rupees. He further said that the 2,000 rupees senior citizens allowance will be increased to 3,000 rupees. The State Minister noted that the increased allowances will be provided with effect from January this year. And that came to you in top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
Moving on with Watchlight, over 30,000 dengue cases have been reported over the last 4 months of 2023, the Sri Lanka Medical Association warned. Accordingly, the SLMA stated that while over 30,000 dengue cases have been reported for this year alone, almost 50% of these cases were reported from Colombo and Gampa districts of the Western Province. Concerns in this regard have been raised within the Kaluthara and Batikula districts as well. Data gathered by the SLMA also reveal that during the relevant time period, 15 persons have died of the mosquito-borne virus.
Coming up, world news.
Headlines: count is underway after controversial Pakistan election. Nuclear fusion, a new record brings the dream of clean energy closer. Volcano spews lava and smoke in new Iceland eruption. And those are the headlines of the world news. Votes are being counted in Pakistan after yesterday's general election, which is marred by the suspension of the mobile phone services and violent unrest. Results have been slow to come out, prompting election officials to warn local officials to speed up the process. The party of disqualified and jailed ex-PM Imran Khan says the delay is a sign of vote rigging. Unofficial results on TV channels suggest Khan's allies are in the lead. Nuclear fusion has produced more energy than ever before in an experiment, bringing the world a step closer to the dream of limitless clean power. The new world record has been set at the UK-based Jet Laboratory. Nuclear fusion is the process that powers stars. Scientists believe it could produce a vast amount of energy without heating up our atmosphere. Fountains of lava have spewed from a fissure in southwest Iceland in the third volcanic eruption since December. Spectacular footage from the Breccianes Peninsula showed molten rock oozing along a fissure estimated at 3 kilometers in length near Sillingafell. Fumes of lava shot more than 50 meters into the air, witnessed by a Coast Guard helicopter flying over the peninsula early last morning. The nearby town of Grindavik was already evacuated during the last eruption on 14th January. And that's world news. And moving on to development, Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena yesterday said that an amount of 900 million rupees has been allocated in this year's budget for the completion of the currently stalled construction of the Navela Angampitiya Bridge. It is being constructed through the Navela Rajagiri Canal, connecting the Batarmala Pitakote Road and Navela Rajagiri Canal. Accordingly, a group of officials, including Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, engaged in an observation tour of the construction site. And the bridge is 700 meters long and 10.4 meters wide. The estimated total cost of its construction is around 2,600 million rupees. And that came to you in Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
Sri Lanka cricket team led by Kusal Mendis will confront Afghanistan in the first ODI today at Pallekele International Cricket Stadium, commencing at 2:30 p.m. Second and third ODI games will be on the 11th and 14th of February at the same venue. Afghanistan team, having new ODI specialist players, are expected to put up a challenge against Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka came to this ODI series after winning Zimbabwe series at R. Premdas International Cricket Stadium last month, while Afghan team is more competitive than Zimbabwe.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Colombo Stock Exchange closed up yesterday. Data on its site showed the broader all-share index closed up at 19.35 points or 0.18% at 10,547, while the S&P SL20 index crossed the 3,000 mark to close at 3,015 points, up 0.61% or 18.24 points. Turnover topped 1 billion rupees. LB Finance PLC saw fairly high volumes being traded. The share closed flat at 31.0. Capital Alliance PLC also saw large volumes traded and share closed up at 52.40.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says the government expects to implement a debt restructuring framework within the first half of this year. The President also expressed confidence that the country was recovering from its worst financial crisis in decades. He further said the island was aiming to grow its gross domestic product up by 3% this year. And that came to you in economic news. Weather report. The Met Department says mainly fair weather will prevail over the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in central, Sabarkama, western and Uva provinces and in Gaul, Matra and Polonnaruwa districts during the morning hours. And that was the weather report to wind up this news podcast. Let's look at the main points once again. The President delivers keynote address at Indian Ocean Conference in Perth today. Sri Lanka's first large-scale solar project unveiled. The Elections Commission says that all should pay attention to register in the 2024 voting list. Ministry of Agriculture to resolve issue related to purchase of organic fertilizers from a Chinese company. State revenue increased by 25% in January after VAT revision. The government increases monthly allowances for kidney patients, disabled and elderly persons. News overseas count is underway after controversial Pakistan election. In sports, Sri Lanka will meet Afghanistan in the first ODI at Pallekele today. And with that, we conclude this morning news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.